Hello everybody and welcome back to the Crooked Hour. Today I'm going to be playing Matchmaker a little bit. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the middleweight division. We're going to be having a little talk about it. The way I'd match up everybody in the top 15, including some fights out of the top 15, because some people might want to jump up to fight these guys and it might make sense. It's a bit of a tricky list. It's a little bit of a tricky list. I didn't know where to quite put everybody, but I tried my best. There might be some surprising ones. There might be some obvious ones, but if I could play Matchmaker, this is how I'd do it. It's also what I think the UFC might do for certain ones. So Chris Curtis, he's already matched up against Anthony Hernandez. Should be a good fight. I think I honestly got Chris Curtis in that one. Anthony Hernandez is hittable. He's a great wrestler, great pressure fighter. Chris Curtis is a hard guy to pressure. He's somebody you sort of have to fight on the outside, and I can see Chris Curtis getting that one done. Keeping his spot as number 15, but still a hard test nonetheless. Anthony Hernandez is a dog. Coming up, number 14, Andre Muniz fighting Paul Craig this weekend, and Paul Craig's got a good chance, which will be good new blood in the division, a real submission artist, somebody who can submit you anywhere. We're going to really see how his cut goes to middleweight, and if his striking is a little bit better at middleweight, because he'll have that power advantage. So it's a hard test for Andre Muniz. Be good to get Paul Craig in the rankings, but we'll have to see what happens. And I've also got the winner of this in a future matchup, but you'll just have to wait and see. Nasruddin Imavov got announced today to be fighting Iskram Aliskerov. I'm not good at names, alright? I'm not good at names. That got announced today because there's been a little bit of a shift up. I'm bringing up later. Paulo Costa versus Khamzat Chimaev, but I'll get into that later. Nasruddin Imavov versus Iskram Aliskerov would be a good fight, you know. They both got similar kickboxing styles. It'll be a good fight to see if Nasruddin Imavov's really got it, because he looked great in his last fight. And Iskram Aliskerov looks good. He looks fucking good. So we'll see how we go with that one. That'd be a good fight. Either Nasruddin Imavov will win, and then I believe he deserves a little bit of a jump, or Iskram Aliskerov will win, and we will have a new fighter in the top 15. Next up, Kelvin Gastelum at number 12, fighting Shavkat Rakhmonov. There's a good fight. It's a good fight. Weird fight, because Kelvin's not going to be in the rankings anymore. He's dropping down to welterweight, so this doesn't actually apply for the middleweight rankings. So I'm just going to skip it. You know what I mean? Next up, Brendan Allen fights. You want to know who I think UFC needs to start rewarding these just guys who have been tracking along, like sludging along, picking up wins, picking up losses. But Brendan Allen's on like a 4-fight win streak or a 3-fight win streak, something like that. He deserves a big jump, and against a top guy, he probably doesn't deserve this jump, to be fair, but it'll spice it up a bit. I'm saying I'm probably going to be flamed for this, but Brendan Allen versus Robert Whittaker, I think it's a matchup to make, because everybody else, either Robert's beat them, or they're booked up, or they don't really deserve it as much as Brendan Allen, in my opinion. I think Brendan Allen is a great matchup to see if Robert Whittaker's still got it. Like, if it's prime Robert Whittaker and he's still got it, that was just a bad fight. He's gonna beat him. He's gonna beat Brendan Allen. But Brendan Allen's got a good chance because he's looking better and better. I feel like it's the right time for this fight. Right time to see if, give him that chance. And if he loses, Brendan Allen's gonna need to work his way back up. But on the meantime, could be a nice bounce back win for Whittaker to really see if he's still got it. Enough of a test, because Brendan Allen can crack and he sits down in the pocket. We saw that in his last fight against Bruno Silva. Next up at number 10, Jack Hermansson fights. I'm bringing someone up out of the lower rankings. Joseph Pyfer. Let's be honest, they want to boost him. UFC wants to boost this guy up. No better than to put him against Jack Hermansson, who has been on and off lately. He has been on and off. So I feel like Joe Pyfer versus Jack Hermansson's the matchup to make there. And I do really think that's a great matchup, and a matchup the UFC should make. See if Jack Hermansson can beat an up-and-comer. See if we can get Joe Pyfer in the rankings. I'd probably take Joe Pyfer in that one. I think he could win that. But Jack Hermansson's got a weird striking style that, could cause Joe Pyfer some issues. Next up, Roman Dolidze. Now, who do I think Roman Dolidze should go against? I'm pulling somebody up out of the rankings because there's nobody else for him to fight, in my opinion. Doesn't make any sense. And going on this theme, I'm saying Arman Tsarukyan, great win over Christian Duncan. Put Arman Tsarukyan, give him a big jump up against Roman Dolidze. Roman Dolidze got a pretty big jump up himself. He didn't look too good in his last matchup. I think put him against Arman Tsarukyan, and we'll really see if Arman Tsarukyan can win that. It's a great fight for Arman Tsarukyan. I think that win against Christian Duncan was the real test. Now it's time to start boosting him up in the rankings against number 9. Number 9, Roman Dolidze versus Arman Tsarukyan. Give him a boost. He's on 2-fight win streak. Roman Dolidze's just lost to Marvin Vettori. So I think that's a great matchup to make. Next up, Derek Brunson. I don't know if Derek Brunson's retired or not. I don't know. I don't think he would. I think he needs the money. I think Derek Brunson needs the money. That's what I think. And I think give him a boost. Chuck someone up there. Chuck someone up there. Test against number 8. They're doing it with all these Russian guys, so why not doing it with Carvalho, who might be the next big thing in middleweight. So Derek Brunson versus Carvalho is what I'll be going with for my matchup. That'll be a nice boost, winnable fight, but a hard fight at the same time, because Derek Brunson seems to give everybody a little bit of a hard fight in that first round. Winnable fight for Carvalho. I'd take him in that fight, but I think that's a matchup to make. Derek Brunson versus Carvalho. Next up at number 7, Paulo Costa got announced to be fighting Khamzat Chimaev, which I mentioned earlier. It'll be a good fight, see if Khamzat can get in the rankings, but it honestly is a hard fight. I'd probably edge Khamzat right now, but it is a hard fight for him. I don't think we've really seen him fight anybody Paulo Costa style, maybe sort of Gilbert Burns, but we seen him struggle against someone like Gilbert Burns, you know, somebody explosive, someone who's got power in their hands, someone who can, good anti-wrestler, and I think that's Paulo Costa. Be a hard fight for Khamzat. Hard to get takedowns on Paulo Costa. He's a big guy, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. At number 5, I've got Marvin Vettori. Now, what do you do with Marvin Vettori? And I think you put Marvin Vettori against a guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name, coming into the UFC, just beat Bruno Ferreira, who beat Robocop. I'm going to butcher this name. Nurzirukan Razibeov. I'll put his face on the screen anyway, so you know who I'm talking about. But you verse Marvin Vettori against this guy, Nurz. I'll call him Nurz. I think this is a great fight. We need movement in the division, and that's what the UFC is going for, so that's what I'm also going for. I want a good mixture. I want like a mixed bag of, like, you know, we have some up-and-coming matchups in the top 15, but we also have some guys fighting each other. Marvin Vettori versus this Nurzirukan Razibeov. Good fight. Marvin Vettori's been very on and off. I feel like this is a good fight to see if he's still got it. See if he can still hang there with the new class of fighter. Now, next up, Jared Cannonier. What do you do with Jared Cannonier? He was a hard one. And this probably isn't the best option, but it is an option nonetheless. I say, book Jared Cannonier against either Paul Craig or Andre Muniz, the winner. You need to bump these guys up. I know they're going to be coming off one win. They're both on losses. But who else is there for Jared Cannonier to fight if he wants to stay active? Who else is there for him to fight? He's beat Derek Brunson. Paulo Costa's booked against Khamzat. Roman Dolidze, possibly, but he's also coming off a loss. Jack Hermanson coming off a loss. Brendan Allen versus, don't get me wrong, Brendan Allen versus Jared Cannonier could be a good fight. But then what do you do for Robert Whittaker? So I'm saying book him against Paul Craig, Andre Muniz. It's a good fight for him. Good fight to pick up a win in the meantime. But it's also a little bit of a test to test his ground game, you know. But all I'm saying is if either of these guys take Jared Cannonier down, do not let him get top position or he's smashing your face in. So I feel like that's a good little matchup to do. You keep it in the rankings. And it's a good test for Jared Cannonier. A good way for him to pick another win in the meantime, just to more solidify that title shot. Next up, we got Dricus. Who does Dricus fight? I feel like he fights Israel Adesanya, but not yet. Because we've seen Israel Adesanya with this little video saying, you know, Dricus is injured. He's hurt his leg, calling him a pussy, basically. And you know what? That only means one thing for Israel Adesanya right now, and that is Israel Adesanya versus Strickland. You do Israel Adesanya versus Strickland. I feel like Israel Adesanya wins that. I don't want him to. I want Strickland to win. How fucking funny would that be? That'd be the best thing that's ever happened to me, pretty much. You know what I mean? I feel like you book him versus Strickland, and then Dricus waits, recovers from his injury, won't be that long of a wait, and then he fights Israel Adesanya at the end of the year, early next year. And that's how I'd book up this whole weight class. That's how I think I'd book it up. If you disagree or if you got other matchup ideas, let me know. it was a lot hard. I came out with this idea and then I got into it. I'm like, fuck. So let me know what you think. And as always, guys, have a good one.
Give me 5 minutes, I'ma pull up with like 5 niggas. Give me 5 minutes, girl, I'ma be right with you. If you're vibing